Namaste, my name is Dhruva M.D. For those of you that cannot pronounce that, it's Dhruva M.D. I do go by the name of Sublime Shine as an artist, and I'm a family physician. I am here to bring you a series of motivational videos that I typically do myself. I'm constantly worried about what other people think about me. I have taken some time out of my life to throw my life onto pen, paper, and pad to try to understand why I'm always worried about what other people think about me. So not to talk too much, let's get right to it. Do you feel like you're always pushing close people away? In the Kava days, it might increase. There's an uptick of pushing closer people away. Why is that? Let's take a coffee stand. So you're going to a coffee stand in the morning, you're a little late going to work, and you experience some type of interaction that you don't like there. I'm going to talk about you going to the coffee stand and pushing that person away. What happens? So you go there, they're taking a little bit more time to make your coffee than you want them to. That's the event. Okay? And what happens is that you get upset because you're late to work. Not you in particular, anybody, okay? Let's generalize this. Let's put it as me as the example. Event happens, you lose control because you're upset. Is that you attempt to seize the situation. What I would like to call attempted seizure. What happens there? Well, you're like, why are you taking so long? Do you know that I've been here before? I'm spending so much money on you. So you are trying to seize the situation. What happens is that the person at the coffee stand sticks up for themselves and they fight back. The seizure fails. Okay? Then what do? Then there's a manifestation. What is the manifestation? There's one of two things that can happen. Either distance yourself, meaning that you don't say anything, or you start yelling or get angry. You're pushing somebody away. Is that you go to the coffee stand, the event happens where they're taking too long, you're late for work, and then you lose control because you're upset there, and then you try to seize the situation by saying something mean or yelling at them. The seizure fails, and then what happens is that you either distance yourself or yell. Typically what happens is that these are the people who do not like conflict. Then you distance yourself. And why is that? Well, that's because you're concerned about what somebody else thinks. And if you don't speak briefly, with tact, without anger, well then something's going to happen and you're probably going to start yelling or getting angry. Those are typically the two manifestations. You are past the stage of distancing and yelling. That means you are keeping to yourself and you're afraid to be direct, or you're yelling. Well, let's see. What happens in the stage of resolution? You blame others versus checking yourself. So this is like the most important part of pushing people away. What generally happens when you push somebody away? Well, you did this, you did that, you did this. No. Why don't you check yourself? Check yourself instead of blaming others, no matter what the situation is. Typically, the reason why you push close people away, especially in the Kava days, is that you don't want to check yourself. And I don't think it's you, it's me and everybody else. Instead of trying to control the situation that is at the coffee stand, what you can do is think about it like this. There are 5 people behind you. She is backed up. Let's say something happened to her last night. Her kid kept her awake. She had to take her pet to the ER. Let's say something random like that. You don't have to think like this, but this very well could be the case. Then why would you get angry at her if she has all of these other issues going on? That means you're just getting upset at yourself. You're working yourself up instead of checking yourself. And that's where this is most important, is that you need to check yourself versus blaming others. When you blame others, what happens is that you say, you did this instead of I did this, and you push them away. What happens? You going to the coffee stand, you're a little late, there's about 3 people behind you, barista is taking some time to get your coffee. And what do? That's the event, you lose control, you yell at them or you attempt to seize the situation, then she says something back, the seizure fails, and then you manifest that as either distancing from the situation, that means checking out and not being direct. For example, saying, hey look, it looks like you're kind of upset, and it looks like you may be taking a little bit more time. Can you just give me a reason behind it? That's one way to think of it. The other way is not to yell, for sure. Then you come to the stage of resolution, which is the most important thing when you try to push people away. Check yourself first. You went late. Is that your fault? Maybe. But it doesn't matter right now because you're in a certain situation of conflict. Try to either check yourself or blame others. You should just say, hey, look, it's okay to pause, and you can reassess the situation at a later time like I do. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that you're going to blame others. You're going to be in a constant state of battling yourself because you're not going to be able to check yourself if you're constantly blaming others. Now, if there is a time and point where you feel that you're right and somebody's wrong, it's okay to be direct and even say, hey, look, this is probably not right. You might be better off doing this. I feel I could have done this better. You and I statements have to be very, very clear, succinct. They have really worked for me in the past. I think I've done a good job at managing situations. I like to just interject and say, this has nothing to do with medicine. I've just taken some time in my life to learn. I would say if you are pushing close people away or even people who you don't know away, you might want to just kind of take a little time out of your life, get her done, draw her out, and see what she shows. So I appreciate everybody watching. Please hit the subscribe button, comment down below and see how I can make this better. If you feel like the setting could be different, or if you'd like to see something else, this coffee stand and barista applies to any situation, especially because we are almost outside more than inside of our homes. Hit the subscribe button, comment and like below. And until next time, namaste, you take care, be safe.